Hello and welcome into another edition of Cooling Down on the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Sammy Miller, alongside your broadcasters, Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore. It didn't go the Firebirds' way tonight. They ended up losing 5-2 against the Cotuit Kettleers. It was pretty close in the 8th and 9th inning, but the first few innings, it was a pitcher's duel, guys. It was Dylan Jacobs for the Firebirds, and for the Cotuit Kettleers, it was all about Cam Hill. Dylan, can you bring us through that pitcher's duel?
It was so different, too, because Cam Hill had a lot of strikeouts, and he was getting the swing and miss. Dylan Jacobs, not as much. It was a lot of weak contact. Like he said, he was missing barrels, and he was very efficient. So two guys who attacked batters and got great results, different ways to get there.
Now, even though they couldn't pull out the win, there were some offensive takeaways. Eddie King Jr. came out, had 2 hits. Also, Matt Hallback is back in the lineup. He was in as the DH. So, Ian, what were you thinking for the positives for today's game?
Well, that was a huge day for Eddie King. There's no denying he has a ton of talent. But not only his first multi-hit game as a Firebird, but also multiple stolen bases. If he doesn't get the second one, the first run of a game does not come across the board off an Eddie Micheletti RBI. So, first of all, Eddie Micheletti's still really good. No surprise there. But good to see the other Eddie King, starting to find some confidence from the plate. And then Matt Hallback with a nice double in the top of the ninth. A 3-run game. Game was still very much up in the air, and he provided an extra base hit. Unfortunately, was not followed up with a whole lot. Great stuff from Noah Roon to seal the deal for Cotuit. But these are two guys who have potential, put up good numbers during the spring at their respective schools, who could definitely add a layer to this offense as the season moves on.
And last night, the story was how strong the bullpen was. They really came in, and that's why the Firebirds won the game last night. Today, I can't say the same. The bullpen was not as strong. Dylan, what were you seeing from those arms?
Well, you had Cam Leiter coming in from the bullpen for the first time in possibly his whole career. He's always been a starter, and now he had to come into out of the bullpen. 0-0 game, a lot of stress, a lot of tension in the 7th inning. He comes in and single, 2 walks, he was out of the game. Nate Ward comes in, and with the bullpen, it's not every guy could be perfect every single night when you use them. Nate Ward and Cam Leiter weren't perfect, and the first batter that Ward faced, he gave a grand slam, and it seemed like that was basically the game before the top of the 8th when the Firebirds put up 2. But the bullpen woes continued in the 9th. Eric Orloff gave up a run, so not a good night for the bullpen, who looks to bounce back tomorrow.
And speaking of tomorrow, they're going to be taking on the Brewster Whitecaps, and the Firebirds have found a lot of success with the Whitecaps recently. So, Ian, what type of adjustments do you think that they will need to make heading into tomorrow's game?
I don't know if there's really any major adjustments, Sammy. One thing is beat up on the bullpen late. I know Brewster's kind of gotten things back together since that 13-2 annihilation that Orleans handed them at Eldridge just about half a week ago at this point. But the bullpen has gone through a lot of changes for Jamie Shevchek's team. I think that's the one vulnerability for that group right now. So if they do throw a starter who, shuts you down for 4 or 5 innings, don't lose yourself. Don't, get too down in the dumps, because this offense showed a little bit of resilience today. It wasn't enough to get over the hump, but I think you could attack that bullpen late. So just wait for your pitch, wait for your count. Your time will come tomorrow, and it could come against the bullpen.
And the road trip continues for the Firebirds. Tomorrow we will be at Stony Brook Field, and we'll see you there.